Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is a video response to a video I saw on Tommy Sotomayor's page called "White Guys Love Black Women for Sex." And the video, was one of my subscribers. Actually, I believe her name is Cecilia 20 something. I forgot the actual channel name, but she's a long time subscriber to me. Been following me through all this bullshit here on YouTube. So I mean, I watched both of the videos, and it wasn't a good move, on her part because, the way the white guy, got on video saying it, even though he might have been, joking around or exaggerating, his obsession with black women, it did come off as if, that's pretty much all he liked. He was doing the sexual references and, basically just bigging up black women because he likes them sexually. So I mean, it wasn't a good move. It wasn't a good thing to, probably put on YouTube. And then, Lord and behold, who got a hold of it? Tommy Sotomayor, out of all the people. And hey, we see these type of videos on both sides. You have a lot of black men on here that boost up women from different nationalities, Hispanic women, white women, and say, oh, they're better, and not necessarily sexually all the time, but they'll just say they're better women. So, I mean, I don't crucify her too much for putting it on, and I'm sure it was a joke, and it was just kind of taken out of character a little, but I don't also think it was a good thing to post because you have a lot of people on here, especially with a lot of this gender race shit going on right now on YouTube. Something like that is very sensitive to people. You get a bunch of white girls bragging about black men and how good they are in bed, like those chicks a couple of months ago, or you get a character like this, bragging about how he likes black women and he likes the way they taste and their titties and shit like that. It's gonna rub people the wrong way, and it will start a controversy. But I mean, I don't think it was something should have been released to the public. I heard you say in the video that he messed up the video, so right there, you shouldn't have posted it on YouTube. You shouldn't have got out because, that does rub people the wrong way. But I mean, it is what it is. We know that you have white men and white women who will date black men or black women simply for, the sex. And vice versa. You have you have black men who will date out of their race just, to see how the white woman is in bed. Because, there's this whole stereotype that they do all this nasty shit and they're more freakier. So you got a lot of black men who will go out, just because they're curious, test out a white woman. Same as it's black women, but I don't think it's as, opponent with black women because a lot of times the average black woman don't even find white men that attractive. Not all of them, but the mass majority, they don't find white men attractive. They're really attracted to brothers. They complain the most about brothers, but that's what they're attracted to. Whereas I think us black men, we, are attracted to pretty much everybody. You hear the slogan on here on YouTube, my dick doesn't discriminate. And, simply because we're open to dating and having sexual relations with anybody. It doesn't matter, race. We find you attractive, hey, you go there with them. And sometimes the chick don't even have to be attractive. You see a lot of these brothers out here with a, big fat, sloppy, 12 cheeseburgers a day, grizzly bear looking white chick, but, because she's white, and she got that white pussy, they'll go ahead, and still date her and still go out with her. And sometimes they'll treat the white woman better than they do the sisters. So I mean, that is the way it is, and the black women do that too. I can remember when I was I was somewhere, I think I was in Burger King or some shit like that, and white guy came in there, said hello to the sisters that was in line in front of me, and I heard him saying, how come brothers can't say that? How come brothers can't speak and then just walk away? It always gotta be, hey, shawty, your ass is fat, or can I do this, or, saying something sexual. I heard him saying that, I had to correct him, because, just being a cat I am, I was like, all brothers are not like that. Maybe you guys are giving off a certain type of vibe that is making these men come at you like that. And then also, You have to get out, experience different men. Stop sticking with the same type of men that's in just within your community. Get out, experience new things, go where, people are different, people who are into different things. And, I had to correct them on that because, I wasn't going to sit there as a black man and watch them downgrade brothers as if, they don't come at them correctly. It could just be the brothers you run into, or maybe you're just giving off a certain type of vibe or presence that are making men come at you like that. If it's 35 degrees outside, you got on shorts up your ass with, a tank top on with your titties popping out. I mean, how do you expect men to come at you? So, I mean, I had to correct them on that, but it just goes back to show, the animosity and stuff we have between the black community. But that's all I got to say on this video. Y'all want to check out Tommy Sotomayor's video, it'll be in the description box. Like I said before, I like some of his videos and some I don't really care for. I agree and then I disagree. That's the way I feel about his videos. But I do understand his point on the subject matter because the white guy did come off, a little rude and he did come off, a little vulgar. But who do we blame? Do we blame him or do we blame, the black young lady? But I'm out. Peace.